Hello, everyone. This is Dave Cherry talking live from XRPL Commons in Paris. We're very happy to meet you all for this new third town hall with the XRPL community. We're here sitting in our office during the Paris Blockchain Week, so we're super lucky to have around the table a bunch of folks from our community. We have Luc from Ripple, Wits and Robert from XRPL Labs, the XRPL Commons team, Panos from Anodos, Stephen from Propto, Matt from Kudos, and more people in the office. So it's great to gather once again. There are a lot to cover. And before we jump in, I think there's a live tweet, a live space on X by a friend, the Crypto Queen. So hello everyone who's hearing and following us. So without further ado, the agenda for today, we'll do a quick catch up on XRPL Commons, what we've been up to this last few months. Give the mic to the community for a round of updates. We have a great panel about real world tokenization, real world assets tokenization. And then Vet will curate a Q&A session with everyone around the table. So great to kick off. What has been happening and going on at Commons? This week we're celebrating 2 years of community building at Commons. So Commons started exactly 2 years ago, and we announced the launch during the Paris Blockchain Week. So feels like a lifetime ago, but also 2 years is quite a short period of time. During these 2 years, we launched a residency program for entrepreneurs and developers. We've hosted already 5 cohorts. We just closed the 5th cohort this week with 12 projects building gaming and gamified experiences on the XRPL with people from all around the world, from Brazil to the UK, from Nigeria to India. It's really amazing to see what people are building and the amount of new ideas that are coming to the XRPL. We're opening the new cohort at the end of the month with a new topic. So people will be building at the intersection of blockchain and AI. Already a lot of great residents are joining. And lately we've been traveling quite a lot. So we met a bunch of you in London a few months ago during a meetup, in Rome, Italy, during a hackathon. We're going to host a few more meetups this quarter. So next meeting is in Dublin, May 26th during the Dublin Blockchain Week. We'll also host a meetup in Brussels, Belgium on June 24th. And we'll also meet you guys at the ETHCC conference in Cannes, south of France, July 4th. So we'll pin that down in your schedule because it's going to be a busy quarter. And soon other meetups will happen in Greece. And we have more locations in mind. So if you guys want to host one or participate to future hackathons, just raise your hand. We're happy to help you organize events locally. On the education side, we've engaged with several universities. We're starting a partnership with Lyon 1. We're starting doing research with them on interoperability in blockchains. We just hosted a great deep dive session with the MBA from IE in Madrid. They spent 3 days with us working with the residents on their project. So our goal, the end goal at Commons is always to bring the community together and to be meaningful about it. So working together, finding opportunities for developers. Yesterday we closed a 2-day hackathon with the Paris Blockchain Week. We had about 70 hackers working on XRP Ledger. The winners brought a really interesting concept. I'll just tell you about it. They designed an AI agent that acts as a co-signer on a multi-sign account to analyze each transaction and make sure that before you sign, there's an agent that goes over the transaction to let you know if it's fraudulent or not. So really, really great innovation coming from the builders community. And with that, we're opening the week for the Product Auction Week. So a lot happening. Meetings with at the Ministry of Finance here in France. The whole ecosystem is vibing. The sovereign fund in France just announced that they were opening a new fund in token. So BPI France will be able to invest in projects not only in equity but also in tokens. So we see the mainstream finance actors getting involved with the blockchain ecosystem, and XRPL is at the forefront. So we're absolutely part of that game. And that's it for XRPL Commons. Of course, there's a lot more.
One more thing.
Absolutely. One big thing we're announcing, and we just received our paper version of the new community magazine. This time it's about DeFi, and it's a deep dive in all DeFi applications on the XRPL. So I want to thank all the contributors, Jofi Borsi, like leading this project, this amazing project, and all the people who have contributed either to articles or proofreading. We've had a lot of engagement from the community, and really from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all for making this magazine really a source of knowledge, a solid source of knowledge for everyone.
Yeah, we had over 20 contributors from the community contributing with articles, and also we have this game in the magazine, which is a totally decentralized article. So you need to find the pieces of this article that are hidden throughout the magazine, and each paragraph is written by a different community member. So good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that. And how can people contribute for future publication?
So they can email me at mag@xrplcommons.org.
XRPL-commons.org.
Yes, that's it.
And we welcome contributions. The intention with the magazine is to shed light on all the projects and all the builders in the community. And also, if you're not building but you are contributing with knowledge, we're happy to onboard you in this magazine.
And with that.
Yep. A few words from the foundation. So some of the founding board members have gathered lately. I don't know if Fabio is awake at that time, because we're hosting that on a time zone that is not super friendly with Australia, but has been awake pretty much every time. We will try to move, by the way, the town hall meeting, so it happens sometimes in the morning for us, sometimes in the evening for us, so that our friends in Asia or in the US or in Latam can also connect. And so a quick update on the foundation. There's been a lot of work done on the roadmap and the new addition. So Matt Menkins, sitting next to me, has joined the foundation as a senior project manager to help us do some groundwork. Hi, Matt.
Hello. Good to be here.
Great to have you with us. Maybe do you want to introduce yourself? A bit of background on who you are and what you've been doing with the XRPL in the community.
Yeah, so it's good to be here in Paris, and looking forward to meeting more of the community. But I have been part of the XRPL community for a few years now. I was actually introduced by Stefan Thomas, who was one of the original sort of XRPL folks, and I started my journey in Interledger, which is sort of a sister community, I would say. But I'm happy to have joined XRPL. I've been part of accelerators, I've been part of the Commons program, and have been building a business on XRPL for a few years now. I'm looking forward to this new role with the XRPL Ledger Foundation to really help get it off the ground. I think there's a lot of work to be done and a lot of things that we can do together. And, I'm just looking forward to meeting you all. So happy to be here.
Great to have you with us. We're super lucky to onboard someone like Matt, who packs a lot of technical expertise and a lot of experience with the XRPL. Everyone at the board has been impressed with the work you've done so far. And also, this is maybe a call to the community to let you know that We're soon going to roll out the committees. It sounds awfully silent, but the foundation has been hard at work and trying to muscle up the team to get things off the ground. So the first committees will start meeting on a regular basis. The foundation just had a bank account open 10 days ago after 6 months of compliance work. So now we're almost, a full-fledged entity with the resources we need to get going. So that's a big update and a big step forward for every one of us.
Since we have a few more minutes in this section, I also wanted to open up the discussion and ask for updates from the community. So maybe, Panos, I don't know if you wanted to share a few words about where you are with Anados at the moment, and
Yeah, sure.
just give us a brief update.
So, hi everyone, great to be here. So yeah, Anados, we have been trying since day one to make it easier to use the XRPL and simplify the onboarding experience and interact with the core fish like the DEX. So for the last few months, we have been working on the Anadex V2, which is a one-stop shop for the XRPL DEX and the AMM. We're trying to incorporate new features like passkeys that will simplify the onboarding experience to XRPL and how you can interact with AMMs and use XRPL for, let's say, the average person in business without all the complexities. So this is where we are now, and we're trying to attract, let's say, more of the outside world into XRPL. So that's it for us.
Cool, thank you. Is there anyone else in the room who might want to share a few updates? I don't know if Witsa, if you wanted to say a few words or.
Well, I think the one thing that Robert recently entered discussions with a couple of different vendors in the crypto ecosystem, potentially allowing for self-custody plus debit cards. So that's something we're looking into, would allow people to easily spend straight from their wallet. There was a tweet we sent out a couple of days, and people seem to be very enthusiastic about the idea. And other than that, we're working more and more also with nodes and other participants in the ecosystem to make better integration for the end users between what the ecosystem builders build and what the end users can use in their wallet. So that's our current focus.
Thank you.
And also, I know that there are many projects that are participating online in the webinar. So if you wanted to share a little update, you can do it in writing in the Q&A section. We would love to hear from you. And also, if you have any questions for anyone in the room, we can discuss those in the Q&A section. So now moving on to our panel discussion that is moderated by Odilia Tortman, our Director of Adoptions and Commons. And then we have Stephen from Propto in the room as well for this panel discussion.
Fantastic. Hi, everyone. Great having everyone here in the room and also everyone else joining us. We have with us Stephen from Propto. David, maybe we can
Sure.
and the camera on him. And Cyril, can you really close can you please close the Q&A slide, please? So we have, yes, Stephen here in the room, and we have Marius joining us remotely. Marius, can you hear us? He's not joining us. Okay, last minute change. He will not be able to join us, unfortunately. But this is really a chance to have a fireside chat with Stephen and to basically showcase a great project that has been based and built on the XRPL for a few good years now. So this is an open discussion whereby Stephen is going to share a bit more about the value proposition of Propto. How are you using the XRPL ledger functionalities, and where do you see this industry going forward? And then afterwards, if there are any questions, both from the people here in the room as well as remotely, we're very happy to have them. So Stephen, please share with us a bit more, A, about yourself, B, how did you start at Propto?
Great, pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us. So I'm Steve Blum, co-founder of Propto. Propto is a regulation-first, all-alternative investment platform, specializing in the tokenization of real-world assets. So that can be in the form of shares, bonds, or crowdfunding opportunities. And our background is all predominantly TradFi. So I worked in real estate. I was a director of Shirley Fitzgerald, Ireland's largest real estate firm. and then after that, head of residential at BidX1, which was an online auction company for real estate. I tried to get into tokenization for a number of years. So we've been planning this business for 5 or 6 years. Very first crypto project I ever invested or got excited about was the XRPL. So was the XRP, Ripple and the XRPL. So ironic that we ended up building here. That's a little bit of background on me. The team are predominantly TradFi. So Morgan Downey has just joined us. Morgan was the managing director of Bank of America Custody for the last 18 years. We've Deborah Hutton, Caroline Halton, Chetan Singh, all former Goldman Sachs and Citibank.
Fantastic. And you're also part of the EU sandbox, right?
We are, yeah. So Ireland's first entry into the EU blockchain sandbox. That's been a fantastic experience because it's allowed us to stress test our complete business model before going to market.
Mhm.
Can you explain maybe what the EU sandbox is?
Yeah, it's a regulatory sandbox. So we've got quite a large licensing umbrella in place for regulated partners. So that includes crowdfunding, MiFID, in investor prospectus regulation, VAT, fiat to crypto on and off ramp, custody and regulated custody. So because of all of those integrations, we've had the opportunity to meet regulators throughout the EU, as well as top legal minds.
Fantastic. So please share with us what is actually, besides the great journey that Propto have had today, the value proposition that you have, mainly targeting, as we spoke, right, institutional players, enterprises. What exactly is the value proposition? How do you start conversation with them?
Yeah, like what we've done really is we're trying to democratize access to investments. So we're quite aware that tokenization and blockchain or crypto can be quite scary for TradFi participants. And so what we've had to do is really simplify that experience and be the bridge between Web 2 and Web 3. So in order to do that, we had to build quite a large product. So primary market, secondary market, investor apps, asset management CRM. So we've had to really streamline that focus. What we're doing is allowing people to sell high value assets, in the form of shares, bonds, crowdfunding opportunities, and that is generally as now a B2B solution.
Okay, fantastic. And when you think about the XRPL, which are the key, I would say, functionalities of the ledger that you use? I mean, obviously very much built on the DEX, but maybe some others, and maybe if you have any other, I would say, future functionalities that you have in mind.
Yes. So when we launch, we're going to be launching, I'll probably explain the business model a little better. We're going to be launching one of the Fortune 500 firms. So they're going to be our partners to advertise real world assets. It's going to be announced publicly by June of this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, so we're essentially going to be working with them to advertise products out to retail and institutional investors. And that'll be a combination of real estate, debt, and commodities. So in order to do that, we had to build a solution that allows us to trade regulated products on a DEX. So we've designed a 2-token standard, security token protocol on XRPL mainnet, and a fee apportionment or platform token.
Fantastic. And you were also part previously of the XRPL grant program, right? And the scale program. You want to share a bit more about the experience there?
Yeah, fantastic experience. I think I got turned down twice. So yeah, we did.
Third time the charm.
Yeah, third time's lucky. So we were originally part of the XRPL Wave 7 accelerator. We then got to meet the Tenety crew. So we did the program with Tenety. And post completion of that program, we started working with Ripple on the scale program. So fantastic experience, really got us to change our business model. So ultimately, we were going to go to market as a B2C solution. We're now B2B2C because of that particular program.
Fantastic. And most of your clients are mainly in Europe, I would say, because of the regulation, the licensing that you have?
Yeah, there's few announcements we're going to bring out in the coming weeks in aligned with that announcement I mentioned earlier. So we're fully licensed to sell in all 27 EU states, but we are partnering with a firm to bring us into Middle East and Asia.
Fantastic. Okay. And if you're in search, for example, if you would need to describe nature of any future partnerships that you would like to have,
Yeah, so like fund managers, commercial real estate agents, so pension funds. So anyone who's looking to democratize access to investments and wants the simplicity and security of the right blockchain, please come to us.
Fantastic. And the last question from my side would be, if you think a bit about the whole world of tokenization and assets, and I know that you guys started from real estate, but today you offer a huge portfolio, right, of real world assets being tokenized. What would be your predictions moving forward? I mean, we all know this has been a huge year for tokenization. What would be your predictions moving forward? A, B, where do you still see the key challenges for a company such as yourself?
Look, there's a lot of challenges in terms of regulation. So it's quite possibly the toughest issue. There's a couple of different nuances with on and off ramps, but I think you're going to see a big change or shift. I don't think people will look at tokenization as being just a Web3 product. I think once that's happened, we've cracked the industry. I think you're going to see your traditional financial services firms, advertising, real world asset investments. The public doesn't need to know that that's a blockchain. And I hope inside of 24 months, we're proven right, and that's the big change in the market.
Fantastic. Is there any specific type of assets that excites you the most? To bring it
Personally,
on chain?
from
No?
background,
Yes.
yeah, real estate, but
Real
we've
estate.
a couple of large products to come to market. So with commodities, high value commercial real estate, so which includes some government backed equities, social housing, student accommodation, plus investment opportunities.
Fantastic. Marius? Yes.
I think Marius joined
Okay,
us.
Marius is here. Hello, Marius. First of all, thank you so much, Stephen. We're not done with you yet, but we just want to say hello to Marius if he's here.
Yes, just joined. Thank you for letting me in.
Fantastic. So Marius from Axiology, thank you for joining. You heard briefly, Stephen. Why don't you please share with us a bit about Axiology? What's the value proposition and what is the current solution that you're working on?
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here. Axiology is developing capital markets infrastructure for regulated tokenized securities, and we're building on the private implementation of XRPL. So probably we're a bit different from the rest of the crowd here. And the proposition that we are developing is to bring regulated financial market up to speed where the crypto market is. So the services of Axiology are cutting across the services of what is referred to as notary, settlement, trading, and brokerage. And using the analogy, that would be the amalgamation of what is right now being done by Euroclear, Clearstream, London Stock Exchange, and Interactive Brokers as a one regulated business model. And on one side, we want to facilitate the likes of SMEs and governments to issue tokenized fixed income instruments directly on such an infrastructure. And the objective would be to distribute those instruments directly or somewhat indirectly to the retail investors, utilizing the vast and growing network of neo-brokers that right now are looking for new instruments.
Fantastic. And for the sake of education, can you maybe explain a bit what you mean by the private implementation of XRPL?
So you take a fork of the mainnet and you run your own implementation. And we do that not because we hold any philosophical position on private versus public ledger, but just for the sake of having to be in a fast track with the supervisors. They feel much more comfortable having a kind of closed and regulated infrastructure. So that's what we mean.
Fantastic. Thank you, Marius.
And is it just a quick hi, Marius? Great to have you with us. This is David. Is it when you say it's a private implementation? Is it exactly like the same version? You're running the same version as the mainnet, the public mainnet, or did you do any tweaks or changes to the code?
Yeah, actually, we did with the help of Ripple developers. We implemented an amendment, a plugin, token swap. It was helping a lot, and now it's a bit creating some headaches. But again, with the help of Ripple developers, we think that we can implement some changes which will make it work. So long answer to a very concrete question. It's almost the same, but not exactly.
Fantastic. And maybe just one last thing about from your side. I know that both of your founders are regulators, right? You want
What
to
was
share
it?
a bit about your journey, how you started from being a regulator to building on the XRPL?
Okay. It will take lots of time, but I guess I strongly believe in innovations, and that which this has been my motivation in my regulatory work as well, and facilitating the likes of Revolut and others to enter the market before other regulators believe that this is a legitimate business model as well. And I believe that XRPL is a good technological base, which can be built into something very significant. Will it be crypto-based kind of Mika type of asset, or trillions of regulated securities? So I put myself into the latter category. I believe that we need to be much more ambitious, and billions and billions of crypto assets that right now are circulating. Still, it's a drop in the bucket compared to the trillions of regulated financial assets.
Fantastic. So maybe wrapping it up again, since you have the wider XRPL ecosystem online, when you're thinking about, again, your designated partners, clients, how can you, what would be your message? Who are your preferred clients that you would like to address? Or are you looking for any specific partners, both tech-wise and business-wise?
Yes, we are. In the very long term, let's define long term, 2 to 3 years, we see ourselves as a go-to infrastructure in Europe, which in the best case scenario would like to be fully interconnected, interoperable with other infrastructures in other jurisdictions. That's why we are forging relationships with DTCC in the United States, CMU in Hong Kong, Tadawul in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and we are participating together with RippleX in the accelerator in Dubai. Everywhere with a focus on this regulated journey, how we can interconnect the infrastructures to develop this ecosystem for regulated financial markets in digital securities.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, both of you. We're now going to open it for the wider community. If you have any questions to Stephen or to Marius, please feel free either to chime in or to write them in the chat. And until then, let me hand it over again to you, Stephen. Any final remarks that you'd like to make?
No, just want to thank everyone for the opportunity to be here. Really appreciate all the time and effort that XPL Commons and Ripple put into the startups. Thank you for the exposure, thank you for your time, and appreciate it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Stephen. Okay.
So if there's any questions in the room, maybe,
I have a question.
or on Twitter.
We have here Mitko from Ripple.
Yes, so Stephen, you mentioned that once assets are tokenized from XRPL, they should be traded and they start increasing their utility. What are the missing pieces of infrastructure, if any, at the moment to kind of enable that process? Just curious.
Yeah, so the feed to crypto on and off ramps are not meaningful on the XRPL. Same with volume of stable coins. So I think we need to improve the likes of the stablecoin provision, the wallet, number of wallets we can integrate. But I think once we improve the on-off ramp, we're in good shape.
Thank you.
What on-off ramps, if any, would you like to see on the ledger that don't support it today? Is there some kind of core partners that you think should be on the ledger?
Oh,
sorry.
As in, is there a stablecoin that we need? So we need a fully compliant stablecoin under MyCar in the EU. So that's vitally important. So obviously, USDT is the biggest one that's now being delisted for an off-ramp provision inside the EU. We need a fully compliant stablecoin on the XRPL pretty quick. Unfortunately, or USD, fantastic. We can use it outside the EU, but we need to push European stablecoin. So Obviously, there are very large stablecoin providers out there. It'd be great to see them integrated.
Okay, maybe more to come soon.
Thank you.
We also have almost 2,000 people listening on Twitter. So if you have any questions, you can also ask there via Crypto Queen or Lat, and they can forward the questions to them soon.
Fantastic. So thank you, Stephen, and thank you, Marius.
No, I just wanted to maybe add to what has been said and stress again. Yes, MiCA compliant stablecoin or electronic money token on XRPL is necessary for any serious implementation to take place. So I'm very happy that there are those. I know of some community members in France actually going after this. We hope that they are successful very soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Marius. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining our panel.
So when we wait for questions to arrive.
So moving into the next theme on the agenda from RWA to AI and blockchain. So us here at XRPL Commons, we've been extremely focusing in the past few months, I would say, on designing new frameworks and tools, focusing on the agentic web, basically on the intersection between blockchain and AI. We've had a few initiatives around that, starting from a workshop we've held a few months ago in the XRPL Commons Soirée, together with Deloitte on digital identity, moving into the next cohort of residency, which is kicking off at the end of April, focusing also on blockchain and AI. As David mentioned, we also had the hackathon yesterday. One of the tracks was focusing on blockchain and AI. And as we move forward, basically also internally to design some enhancing tools, I would say, to automate and digitize some of the development of the application using different types of AI applications on the XRPL ledger, we basically wanted to reach out to you guys and hear from you. What do you see are the key strategic areas where the XRPL can benefit from AI-based automation? And even more specifically, if you have in mind, I would say the wish list of the more strategic, the most interesting use cases around AI that you would like to see further solutions and applications being developed on, please scan the QR. You have there a very quick and a user-friendly form to fill. If you have any other inputs, thoughts, tools being developed or projects, please do share them with us because we're trying to incorporate all these tools and make them accessible, and we also consolidate our efforts and resources around that. So thank you so much.
And now without further ado, let's move on to the Q&A section of this town hall. So that I don't know if there's already some questions that came in via Twitter.
Let me check and have the best ones selected for you guys. So one question that comes from users is regarding the private ledger version that is being run. And the question here is how to keep in sync with the public network. What's the maintenance effort on that side?
Marius, are you still here to answer?
I am, but I couldn't hear the question. Can you repeat it, please?
Oh, yeah, I can repeat it again. Sorry. Yeah, so regarding the private you're running, how you're keeping in sync with, let's say, the public network and the advantages.
Am I the only one having difficulties hearing?
That is on and off.
Maybe we
May I
can
suggest-
repeat the question.
So the question was, how do you keep in sync with the mainnet implementation?
Ooh,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, that's a very good question. If the question is in terms of technological base, probably my CTO, who is listening in but not on the panel, could share more. But if the question is in terms of sync with the assets which are on the public ledger, that requires solutions. And I'm not going to refer to them as a bridge or an XLR or some other implementation, but that's what we are currently working on in the accelerator in Dubai International Financial Center, because our objective is exactly that. The settlement of financial securities can take place either in regulated stablecoins on Axiology, which is a private network, or potentially could be taking place on using any other asset, for example, mainnet-based stablecoin. So in financial world, that is called a transaction where settlement takes place somewhere else, free of payment transaction. So we need a sync, which allows us to sync those two transactions where the settlement took place on the mainnet and the registry record of securities on Axiology is recorded accordingly. Very long answer, but to shorten it, something similar we have already done in an implementation with a Bundesbank trigger solution, where we interconnected Axiology infrastructure to the potential digital euro implementation, where European Central Bank is running its digital euro infrastructure, where euro is being settled, and we are just submitting buy and sell orders and the coupon payment transactions to that other infrastructure.
There's a follow-up question from Bet, from someone addressing it to Bet. How important is mainnet reputation and reliability for private XRPL usage?
Very important. I guess it's for me.
Yeah.
Very important. Just last week, we defended our case in the eyes of all the supervisors in Europe, European Central Bank, European Commission, and European Securities and Market Authority. And just to make sure that we say everything correctly, we have been requested to have the core developers of Ripple present in the call, and they have also giving the presentation and answering questions on the consensus mechanisms, UNL, and all the other specificities of Ripple protocol.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, when new XRP Ledger Foundation website? Thank you for that question. I was hoping someone would ask. So we've been working with a designer to have a new corporate logo, because we want to inspire a new, we want to implement a new entity, and it comes with a new identity, graphical identity. So we're working on something that should come up, and we've been saying internally next week. So I'm going to say next week, but most likely by the end of April. And there's a difference between having a web page and a website. So maybe it's more a question for Matt, because he's taking over that part.
ASAP.
Exactly. Honestly, the honest answer, we wish we had a website up and running already for the last couple of months. But we prioritize over having all the compliance stuff done, and having a bank account open, and having the content of what needs to go on the website, and starting thinking about a membership tiering, so that when we come up with a new website, we have a few things to announce and a few things to share with the community, and most importantly, have a way for the community to engage. So that is what we've been more involved in. Question, thank you, Bet. I'm in Europe and I want to host an XRPL meetup and potentially a hackathon with 2 Web2 companies. Can the XRPL Foundation help me now with this? So the answer is yes, and I will let Jofi answer. As of now, this is still XRPL Commons pulling the heavyweight for meetups and hackathon, but over time the foundation will also do a lot of these. For now, if we have someone.
Yes, for now, you can get in touch with me at mag@xrpl-commons.org. And I'm also in the process of putting together a little guide for anyone who wants to organize an XRPL meetup. So soon it will be live on our website, and it will offer like all the practical tips and steps of how to co-organize the meetup with XRPL Commons. I see that there's a new question that's also probably me who can answer it.
Yes, please.
How can I contribute to the XRPL community magazine I saw today launch? So same email, you can reach out, or you can also reach out on X, and I'm like really open for any pitches from the community. The next magazine's topic is going to be gaming and AI, so I will be specifically looking for articles on those topics. And yeah, we can work together on defining the concept of your article. Yeah, usually the process takes about 1 month, so keep that in mind. And yeah, really looking forward to contributions from the community. Okay, the next question is not for me. So.
This is a great question. Thank you. I'm a C++ Rust developer. Is there a grant program to learn XRPL core protocol? Maybe Luke? No, not Luke. So what we want to do is we want to have more people involved in contributing to the core protocol. There are a lot of contributors already. I would say not a lot, but there are some contributors in the community who are heavily invested and committed to contributions, providing contributions to the XRPL. So for everyone to understand, there's building apps on the protocol, and you can do that in any language, and they're providing contributions to the core protocol itself, so contributing to the source code of RippleD, which is a C++ software. It's, if you will, it's the XRPL client, and this is a very knowledgeable community that contributes to it. And we're planning to host a bootcamp for core developers this summer at XRPL Commons. We haven't announced it yet, and it's a program that is still in the pipes, but I'm taking the opportunity here to promote something that is yet to be announced. And we want to bring more core developers to work on XRPL. So it will not come in the form of a grant, but more in the form of helping people get on board through a very intense bootcamp. And there will be more information about that very soon. So whoever sent that question, please get in touch with us. You can send a mail at mag@xrpl-commons.org, and Sophie will redirect that.
Right.
Any more questions? We really like them.
Not for now.
I have a bag of XRP holding. How do I safely put it to work to earn returns? Well, that's a great question. As you know, XRPL is not a native proof of stake blockchain, so it doesn't have a rewarding system built in. But there are some people in the community working on lending and borrowing solutions. And this is something that several entities are considering bringing to the XRPL. So there's not one way, I cannot give one way to do it right now, but it is something that several companies are considering, and there's definitely some room for an offer of this type. Happy to have your guys' comments. I'm sure, Panos, you have other ideas.
Yeah, I mean, there are like a few ways, but not, let's say, safe. There is the AMM, which as a government, you're actually not earning on top of your XRP. So we have to wait for the lending protocol, and let's say other opportunities, like on the VM sidechain or the HAO, or like more complex DeFi application that can allow to earn on top of your XRP. But yeah, for the moment, there isn't any safe way to earn your XRP.
I think a note worth making is that it's never going to be 100% safe. There are things that are very unsafe, and there are things that are relatively safe. But I think nothing when it comes to investing is fully without risk. I mean, even putting your fiat money on your bank account still has some limits when it comes to deposit guarantee schemes. So that's a TradFi approach. I think in the blockchain space, it will be clear over time what are the safe ways, but also even if you're looking at the safe ways, what risks does it come with? So for example, AMMs, very safe if it's an on-chain protocol, but there's still, for example, impermanent laws, and people need to understand what the risks are of even the safe investment mechanisms. So.
There's more questions.
More questions. I have a project on the XRPL. Where can I get help for business questions? So, the community is a pretty good way to start. Collective intelligence is probably the best kind of intelligence. And the XRPL community is very supportive of new builders coming with questions. So Twitter, the Discord, and then here at Commons, we're also very open to welcoming questions. So you can find us on our website, xrpl-commons.org. And there's another question that is in line, but more of a technical one. So I read the full question. This may be a very beginner question. I apologize. So first off, there's no need to apologize for any sort of question. And beginners are more than welcome, especially when it comes to building. We were not born with all the knowledge at once, so learning is part of the process. So this question is, where could someone like myself look for assistance with getting set up and starting to work on the XRPL? So there are a number of resources to get started as a developer. There's the XRPL learning portal on learn.xrpl.org. There's a whole lot of documentation on xrpl.org. And then on XRPL Commons YouTube channel, you will find a range of videos and tutorials and past trainings that we hosted here. There's also a great class on Udemy by Chris Dangerfield that is available for a few bucks. If you're in Europe, or if you're considering traveling to Europe, May 5th and 6th, we're hosting an in-person training for developers here in Paris, and all the details are on XRPL Commons website. But if you are not willing to travel, there's a whole lot of resources available for free and open source. Another question, maybe? Keep them coming.
Yes.
Okay.
What will the XRPLF do to have projects and developers go full-time XRPL?
I mean, I can answer that one. There'll be avenues for grants and funding, but I think the foundation is designed to help boost the ecosystem presence for sure. But the only way that people can really earn a living is by building sustainable companies and operations and organizations on the ledger. So like the best way, at least I've found from my experience, is building a company that can sustain you in terms of profitability and operations. Saying that, there'll be different grants and avenues to kind of help you get kickstarted to build a profitable company, and a number of different avenues, so we're kind of exploring.
And we can maybe expand on that for a second. There's been a lot of complaints, I'll call them complaints, about the current state of support for developers. And so funding program is not an easy thing to run. And it's also hard to do it and not frustrating people who do not get financial support. So I would say something, everyone here around this table agreed that we need a decentralized approach to funding, and the more entities can support the ecosystem, the better. And when I say everyone around this table, I include Ripple, I include Labs, I include Commons, and the new foundation. And so we at Commons, we want to support builders. We will soon have a small fund to support open source projects. Ripple is maintaining XRPL grants, And the foundation in time will announce also funding programs for builders. So very, very aligned with you, Luc, on that. There is no easy way to go full-time on the XRPL unless you have a sustainable business, but we are here to help you bootstrap and kickstart a project. Yeah, any crystal ball on EVM on mainnet? Yeah, Tomiko is here, is probably the best person.
So yeah, we are pretty sure, hopefully that like in 1 or 2 weeks time, it will be live. The testnet is now live.
Yep.
And I think we initiated Genesis, so I think in 1 or 2 weeks it should be live.
1 or 2 weeks from now,
Yeah.
we should be live. Answer from
That's the latest. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think we're at time. It was a pleasure to gather everyone here online on X. Honestly, we love hosting these town hall, and we should do more of them. I think we already have a date pinned down for the next one. We will host one during the Apex Singapore 2025. So June 11 to June 13th. We don't have a date yet, but as soon as we know where, we'll have a room to host it. And when we have a room to host it, we'll announce the date. But for everyone who will be attending Apex Singapore, if you want to participate to this community town hall, you will be able to do it in person. And for the rest of the community, we'll invite you to join either through X or Zoom. Thank you very much, everyone. And see you very soon. Keep building on XRPL.
Bye.
Bye.